In a small mining town of the Copper Belt lived a couple named Jessica and Joshua. They were the talk of the town, known for their love and the beautiful home they shared. Jessica was adored for her kindness and generosity, while Joshua was admired for his charm and good looks. They had been married for several years, and despite the occasional bump in the road, they seemed like the perfect couple. Jessica's birthday was fast approaching when Joshua planned a grand celebration to show his love and appreciation. The town buzzed with excitement as invitations were sent out to family and friends. Joshua spared no expense organizing a lavish party at their home. On the day of the celebration, the house was decorated with colorful balloons and streamers. The aroma of delicious food filled the air, and the sound of laughter echoed through the rooms. Jessica was overjoyed, her heart swelling with gratitude for her loving husband. As the guests arrived, Jessica's sisters, who were close-knit and always supportive, joined in the festivities. The evening was filled with joy and merriment. Toasts were made, and Joshua's affectionate words brought tears to Jessica's eyes. However, as the night wore on, an uneasy feeling began to creep over Jessica. She noticed lingering glances and awkward exchanges between Joshua and her sisters. Dismissing it as mere imagination, she pushed the thoughts aside, determined to enjoy her special day. As the party continued, Jessica's oldest sister, Faith, approached her with a troubled expression. She led Jessica to a quiet corner and hesitated before revealing a shocking truth. Joshua had been unfaithful, not just once, but multiple times, with almost all of Jessica's sisters. Faith had discovered the infidelity and could no longer keep it a secret. Jessica's world shattered. She confronted her sisters one by one, and each reluctantly admitted to the affairs, ashamed and remorseful. The bonds of sisterhood that once seemed unbreakable were now tainted with betrayal. Overwhelmed with grief and anger, Jessica confronted Joshua in front of all the guests. Joshua, caught off guard and unable to deny the accusations, tried to justify his actions, but his words fell on deaf ears. The guests were stunned into silence as Jessica poured out her pain and disappointment. The once joyous celebration turned into a scene of heartbreak and despair. Jessica's voice trembled as she demanded answers from Joshua. His excuses and apologies only deepened her pain. The sisters, racked with guilt, stood by, unable to meet Jessica's gaze. The guests, shocked and uncomfortable, began to disperse, leaving the couple and their shattered family to face the aftermath. That night, Jessica made a decision. She could not continue living with the betrayal that had destroyed her trust and her family. She packed her belongings and left the house that had once been a symbol of love and happiness. Her sisters, now estranged, struggled to mend their relationship with her, but the wounds were too deep to heal quickly. Jessica found solace in the support of her friends and the strength within herself. She moved to a small cottage on the outskirts of town, where she began to rebuild her life. She focused on her passions and dreams, determined not to let the betrayal define her future. Joshua, now alone in the grand house, faced the consequences of his actions. His life began to unravel further when his boss discovered that Joshua had been having an affair with the boss's wife. Furious and betrayed, the boss fired Joshua on the spot, leaving him without a job and a tarnished reputation. His former charm and charisma were now overshadowed by his indiscretions. Joshua struggled to find work, as word of his affairs spread throughout the town. The once charming and admired man became a pariah, shunned by the community and former friends. He moved into a small, rundown apartment, far from the grand house he had once shared with Jessica. Jessica, on the other hand, thrived in her new role. Her resilience and determination soon caught the attention of an old friend from high school, Sophia, who had studied business in China and now owned a successful industry in the town. Sophia admired Jessica's strength and offered her a position as chief executive officer in her company. Grateful for the opportunity and ready to prove herself, Jessica accepted. Her leadership skills and innovative ideas soon led the company to new heights, earning her respect and admiration from her colleagues and the community. Despite her professional success, Jessica faced personal challenges. Many men at work admired her strength and success and sought her attention. They began to chaff her, but she turned down their advances. Her heart was still healing, and she focused on her children and career, unwilling to rush into a new relationship. Meanwhile, Joshua lived a humble life in a distant town, far from the whispers and judgment of his past. He took on menial jobs, earning a meager salary, but he embraced his new life with humility and determination. He worked tirelessly, trying to make amends for his past mistakes and build a future he could be proud of. Back in the mining town, Jessica's children were growing up quickly. They excelled in their studies and prepared to leave for college in South Africa. Despite their achievements, a longing tugged at their hearts, the desire to see their father. They remembered the good times with Joshua and wanted to reconcile before embarking on their new journey. Jessica, though still hurt by Joshua's betrayal, couldn't ignore her children's wishes. She struggled with the decision, torn between protecting her heart and fulfilling her children's request. Seeking guidance, she turned to the town's pastor, a wise and compassionate man known for his understanding and counsel. The pastor listened patiently as Jessica poured out her heart, expressing her pain, anger, and the burden of her children's longing. He spoke gently about the power of forgiveness, emphasizing that while forgiveness doesn't excuse the wrongs done, it frees the heart from the weight of resentment. He reminded Jessica of the good qualities Joshua once had, his love for their children, and the potential for change and redemption. Moved by the pastor's words, Jessica reflected deeply on her journey and the lessons she had learned. She realized that holding on to bitterness was preventing her from fully healing and moving forward. She decided it was time to let go of the past and embrace the possibility of forgiveness. Jessica reached out to Joshua, who was taken aback by the unexpected call. She explained the children's wishes and her own journey toward forgiveness. They arranged a meeting, and for the first time in years, Joshua returned to the town he had once called home. The reunion was emotional. Joshua, filled with remorse, apologized sincerely to Jessica and their children. He shared his experiences and the lessons he had learned during his time away. The children, overwhelmed with emotions, hugged their father tightly, feeling the bond that had been strained but never broken. Jessica saw the genuine remorse in Joshua's eyes and the positive changes in his demeanor. She felt a glimmer of hope that perhaps, with time and effort, they could rebuild what was lost. They decided to attend church together, seeking spiritual guidance and healing. During a heartfelt service, Joshua stood before the congregation and confessed his sins, asking for forgiveness and a chance to start anew. The pastor, who had witnessed their journey, blessed them and encouraged the community to support their path to reconciliation. Jessica and Joshua began their relationship anew, taking small steps to rebuild trust and understanding. They attended counseling sessions, communicated openly, and supported each other in their respective endeavors. The children, seeing their parents' efforts, felt a renewed sense of unity and love within their family. As the time approached for the children to leave for college in South Africa, the family shared precious moments together. Jessica and Joshua watched with pride as their children embarked on their new adventure, knowing that the foundation of love and forgiveness they had built would support them wherever they went. Their story reminded everyone that, despite the darkest of times, the light of forgiveness and the hope of a fresh start could lead to a brighter, more fulfilling future. Now the question is, if all this happened to Joshua, was he going to forgive Jessica?